Anyone expecting there to suddenly be no investigations and Democrats realizing they need to work with this president, that he's going to be here for another, 2 years, that's not going to be the case. There really wasn't much of an agenda left. For instance, the infrastructure, we always talk about infrastructure. Is it time for infrastructure? Democrats and the administration are very far apart. I highly doubt we're going to see anything like that. Maybe if this was like the beginning of last year, but now that we're deeply into the election season, I don't think so. So if you like investigations, you're going to get a lot more of that. If you like infrastructure, not so much.
Dan, you think that's why the futures are basically unmoved this morning? The market's not really pushing one direction or another based on this news.
Yeah, let me take a different task here, Becky, different direction. And I would start off by saying that the market is far more worried about a China trade deal and its ability to come to conclusion than it was about the Mueller investigation. Admittedly, about a year ago, there was a lot of uncertainty about the Mueller investigation. But over time, the market had built in there probably wasn't collusion. I think Jimmy's right that we're going to start seeing more investigations. And it reminds me a lot of 1999 or 2011, both very politically volatile years. Not much was able to get done. But if you remember, in 2000 and in 2012, both presidential re-election years, you saw Congress come together to get some items done. And you have some catalysts there. The debt ceiling will have to be raised by October 1st. The automatic spending cuts will need to go into effect. So there will be some automatic drivers to get in place. I think the big question that we're asking this morning is, now that it's clear the president's going to be in office for the next 2 years or till the 2020 campaign, does China now say, oh, we got to make a deal? Does it start bringing forward more concessions with the European Union? So it may be more in these non-congressional items where the president sees his agenda get lifted.
Yeah. I think the answer, I think we really have to look at China trade. One, I think that's one possibility. China realized Trump's stronger, not going away. I guess we need to concede and make a deal. Of course, the other side of that case is does the president feel emboldened? Does he feel like his position's stronger? Does he push harder on China to make a deal? And does the whole thing kind of blow up? Certainly, the president showed his willingness to walk away from a deal. So I think the bull case is what Dan just outlined. The bear case would be overreach by the Trump administration.
Jim, let me bring up another point. Dan kind of hinted back to what we've seen when we have seen a similar story play out in the past. Not in the same, but the last time that you saw an investigation, that was with Clinton. What happened with the markets around those times, after the Starr report, then after impeachment proceedings and beyond?
Yeah, listen, certainly back then markets were really worried that this was going to drive Clinton from office. Things were going great. There was a bear market leading up to the Starr report. After that Starr report came out, the market went up. It didn't go up in a straight line, but as it became clear the president was not going to leave office, most likely the market rallied. Now, I think the one difference between now and then is sort of the bid and ask is a lot wider. If something would have happened to the president, it made it more likely for Democrats maybe to get in 2020. The Democratic agenda, Democrats have moved left. Now they're talking about wealth taxes, things like that. So I think the stakes in the election in 2020 are potentially a lot higher than they were 20 years ago, because the parties are, I think, a lot further apart than they were 20 years ago.